evidence again wasn't done.
Let me just come in quickly, sorry, Tel, with why I think that. This is looking at things right now. I imagine teams have got to get better because, without being no disrespect for Liverpool, they clearly deserve it. Everybody's been crap this season. And I mean really crap. The standard is abysmal in the Premier League right now, if I look at it. And the Liverpool fans hate it when I say that because, oh my God, you're really good. It's crap. Look at the state of some of the games, man. Like, real talk. I'm used to seeing Henri v Drogba, and now I've got Pedro Neto versus Mikel Marino. Like, what's happening here? Like, the league has gone completely crap.
Dan.
Yeah. Say again?
Was it crap last season?
No, this season I'm talking about. I look at this season, I think it's poor.
Do you think it was crap last season?
I mean, it wasn't great, but it was better than this season, right?
No, I disagree because last season we also watched Pedro Neto compared to Henri versus Drogba. So it's for me, I think this is the best league we've seen in a while. Proper Barclays. Anyone can beat anyone.
No, okay. So I think it's been competitive, but I don't think the quality's been good.
Dan, can I ask you a question on that?
I think Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford, some of these clubs are amazing.
Do you not think that we've gone down to their level, though, Hassam? Like, they've been good, but we've come down, or have they gone, wow, they're up here?
I disagree with Dan.
Guys, you could be right. Let me throw this question out. Have the levels been equalized? Because it's no longer as easy for Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, United to just go and buy all the best players from these other clubs. I look at, if you just take Bournemouth, they have soul players, to be fair. They've got a conveyor belt. But if you think about the Bournemouth players, the Forest players, 10 years ago, 20 years ago in the Premier League, 2 or 3 of those Forest players would have been bought by Chelsea or City in the January. They'd have just gone, he looks good. Let's throw the money at it. The TV money wasn't as good. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like that used to happen a lot more where you go, bloody hell, he's looking good down there. Let's just buy him. You know, like how the big tech companies buy up a competitor. Sometimes they buy them and then crash the business. They don't even want to develop it, but it might compete with them one day. I just feel like it's so hard now to take the top players away from other teams. You're spreading that quality out across 20 teams rather than it being sort of top heavy in 5 or 6 sides, maybe.
Yeah, but then that literally proves the point that this league is better than any other league it's ever been, because the distance between the teams in mid-table and the teams at the top is a lot smaller distance, you know. And you look at some of the stuff that's happening this year. I mean, people just going based off a nostalgia basis. I'd rather watch Iraiola's Bournemouth over Tony Pulis's Stoke. I'd rather watch, you know, this current version of Brighton under Hertzler than anything West Brom had 12 years ago, 13 years ago. They were boring as hell to watch with that Olsen guy at the back who had long hair. They were boring as hell to watch. This is the best Premier League has ever been for a really long time. Anyone can beat anyone. The quality is unbelievable. There's about 8-9 incredible managers in this league. Nottingham Forest are in 3rd place, winning games of football consistently this season, which proves that this league has been amazing. And I think, you know, Dan Potts, I love you, but I think this is a coping mechanism, because if Liverpool win, if let's say for the sake of argument, Liverpool win 7 out of the remaining 8 games or whatever, 8 out of the remaining 9 games, whatever it is, right? I think Liverpool end the season on 94 points, which would have won the league last season and the year before that. And if by definition the distance between the teams at the top and the teams in the middle is smaller, and we get even more points than the league champions last year and the year before that, then this is an even more impressive title win because of the quality in this league, which has been absolutely
Let me tell you
incredible.
why I disagree with Hassam. Let me tell you why I disagree. I know Mo's going to agree with Hassam here. So let me just throw this in quick. Tottenham might not even make 40 points and they're clearly going to stay up because everybody below them is absolutely abysmal. I've seen Southampton that are going to beat
Hang
Derby.
on, sorry, Dan. Do you know what I love about that? We're above them now, so we're above them now.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
Yay!
Manchester United are crap. Tottenham are crap. Chelsea are rubbish. We've got Villa and Newcastle that people are bigging up, but they're still not guaranteed to even make the Champions League, let alone get into like any form of title race. We've got Arsenal, who I support and I think have been absolutely embarrassing this season. Yeah. And then you've got the likes of the 90s and the 2000s, where, let's be real, let's just look at England strikers. Yeah. Right now, name me 5 of the England strikers, because I can name you from the 90s and 2000s, probably 15. Andy Cole and Ian Wright didn't even get any England caps hardly because of Teddy Sheringham and Alan Shearer. Now we've got Harry Kane, Ollie Watkins, and now I'm drawing up already. Solanke, Tammy Abraham, Ivan Toney, who's over in Saudi. Are we really going there? This quality is the best we've seen. I mean, I know you're younger than me, Sam, but crikey. Like this is not the best Premier League season.
That has been happening, Dan. But that has been happening over the past. Still, Erling Haaland is still a striker today. He was last season and the season before. Kai Havertz was an Arsenal striker last season as well. Like
before,
it has been.
Yeah, but I'm not saying the quality was amazing last season.
Liverpool have had Darwin Núñez now for 3 years. Yeah, but the whole point of people using your argument is saying that Liverpool won the league because the league is weak. Let me tell you the difference. How I'm looking at it from outside.
Go on.
I think the league has actually come way stronger this season than last season. Let me tell you why. Last season, in the second half of the season, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City, in the majority of the games, we start the game watching then, and we know that Arsenal are winning the game. It would be a very surprising result if Arsenal drew a game. Man City, the same. They won 18 out of the last 19 games, Man City, last season, if I'm not mistaken. Arsenal won 16. That tells me that the league quality is so weak that I'm watching the game knowing the result before the game even started. That is last season. While the difference between this season and last season is that if you look at Liverpool games this season, even though they are on 70 points at the current moment, the majority of the games that you watch for Liverpool, it's not a full-on conclusion until like minute 70. Even the Brentford game, Liverpool won many games in the 90-plus minutes this season. They won with 1+ goal margin this season a lot of times against a lot of teams in the mid-table. But the difference is Arsenal this season, the reason why you didn't win the league is because you didn't have these moments that Liverpool had for the whole of the season. The Salah moments where Liverpool won 2-1. When at the 90-plus minute, Liverpool win the game and 3 points. And these 3 points accumulated to the lot now that there is 12 points between you and them. However, let me tell you, Brighton played Man City the other day. Even though you say that Man City are crap, but I'm going to say actually Brighton have improved massively under this manager. Brentford have improved. You play Fulham away, it's not a full-on conclusion. Last season, everybody would say Fulham away for Arsenal and Man City.
And that's why last season...
You're missing my point. The reason that it's difficult now is because our levels come down and theirs is raised. So do you think that Nottingham Forest, Brighton, and let's say Bournemouth are now at the level of Arsenal and City, and next season they're going to get right close? Or have Arsenal and City just got worse?
Yeah, but that's not the point. Because 2 years ago,
hold on. I can
last
answer
season.
this.
Forget last season, because last season.
I'm going to tell you the difference then. I actually think the main thing about this league is that the mid-table coaching has improved massively over the last 10 years in the Premier League, and teams have had way more money to start having. With all due respect, Newcastle have Isak, right? You can look at Wissa and Mbeumo. The coaching have made them a 50+ million pound players over the last 2 years at Brentford. Look at Bournemouth with the players they have. If you look at the Bournemouth squad at the current moment, right? You're not going to look at them and say they are amazing. No, but the guy is doing a fantastic job at Iraola of making this team very competitive. Iraola, making this team very competitive.
Managers, I think they've been amazing.
But here is the difference. In the last 10 years, the mid-table teams were so average. Were so average in coaching and in acquiring players that we used to see championship players go up and down between mid-table and championship. Nowadays, mid-table players are way, way better than championship level players.
And they're showing a lot more. Let me just say this. They're showing a lot more cojones as well when coming up against these managers. Meaning, for the last probably, 7-8 years, every single time a manager comes up against a Liverpool or a Manchester City or an Arsenal in the last 2 years, all they do is park the bus. The whole way of beating those teams is essentially defending. That's how Crystal Palace beat Manchester City. That's how Wolves beat Manchester City when Traore scored twice at the Etihad, by defending and playing in a low block. Now managers are no longer doing that. Brighton are going in their own style to the Etihad and getting a draw. You're looking at Bournemouth, who are beating Manchester City, the first team to beat Manchester City, I think, in the Premier League this season, and start this whole losing drought. And even you look at, back when Arsenal were 8 points ahead of the league, I can say Liverpool were crap. And Chelsea finished 12th. Brighton finished 6th that season. Newcastle, we were just talking about, got European football for the first time ever when Arsenal were 8 points ahead with 5 games to go. And you look at at the league
I
title.
agree. I still don't think the league was great then. That's what I'm saying. I think it's not just been this season. I think it's got incrementally worse, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
but
really
if
believe
you're
that.
if you're talking about like
Do you know-
I
do
think
you know
what you're
that-
doing,
that-
what you boys are
sorry,
doing is
sorry,
I want to add. I want to add
saying-
one piece of information to Dan before he goes on. When is the last time you see mid-table teams and lower half of the table teams go to La Liga, Serie A, and Bundesliga, and get players from the Fiorentinas, get players from the Real Sociedad? That hasn't happened. That's because of the money, Dan. So basically, you are getting the better players in these leagues because you don't have the money to mid-table teams in England. So the level in England, if you want to say football in general in the world, Dan, has gone down from
Yeah,
talent.
yes, I agree with that.
I think it has.
We will definitely agree with this, and it's Pep Guardiola's fault, and we move on from this, right?
Well, that was actually
That's
going to
the
be the point I raised. I'm not blaming Pep directly. I get a feeling though that you maybe don't have as many. I don't want to use the word rogues, but sort of standout players that we just look at as game changers. I almost feel like players now from the age of 5 or 6 are being turned into more robotic football players. You play this way in this shape, you play in this square, you don't leave this, we work on that. It's very, you see it in sports and you see an improvement for a period, then you might go through an age where you go, it's a little bit robotic. And I think we're going through that now. There are less, as you had like Jack Grealish as an example. We all loved him at Villa because he was a bit of a throwback. There was a system and they played a certain way, but it was just go do your thing, Jack. Go out there and be yourself. He's joined Man City, and it's no, this is the role you play. These are the 2 to 3 squares on the pitch that you have to remain in no matter what. You track back here at all times. When we're out of possession, you go to this point. When we're in possession, you've got to stand out wide or you've got to come into this little sector. You've got to be in 92.092 degrees outside the edge of the box on the left-hand side so that the overlap's possible and the underlap and the flip-flap and the jack-flap can do their thing. And I do feel that has played a part. But what has also done is now that a lot of the lesser teams in England have got managers that also can coach like that, it's become more like chess. And and I think football has become a bit more like chess as opposed to what it was 20 years ago. And then it becomes a stylistic what's better. I preferred football. I still love football. I'm not saying it's terrible. I don't go down that road, but I did. And we all spoke about this in the Champions League last year, didn't we? In the semi-finals, gents, when we were saying, look at that. There was 2 or 3 teams playing where it was just a little bit more old school. And I like that about the remaining teams in the Champions League.
It's more competitive now, Terry, but it's not better than it used to be.
No, I understand
It's
that.
definitely not better. Vini Jr. is
that.
the best player in Brazil. Vini Jr. would not be on the bench just 15, 20 years ago for Brazil in 2006.
I think what Dan is saying is true in terms of world football. I do think quality in the world in general of footballers is less now. And that's not nostalgia, that's reality. I do think come on,
man. Zidane, R9, Ronaldinho, Messi, Ronaldo. Now we've got Vini Jr. and we're drying up already. Like, what's happening, man? Come on.
But Premier League wise, I do think
but that's not Liverpool's
honest.
fault. That's not the Premier League's fault.
No, but now we're talking about something different, though, Mo. Now we're talking about world football. I do believe both. I think the world of football has definitely talent pools dropped, and I actually believe the Premier League is worse than it was back in the 90s and 2000s. No, it's not because Arsenal were winning everything then. I just think there was better quality. If I was to pick out Premier League all-time 11s, there's a few of them that I get now. You can throw in De Bruyne, you can throw in Salah, you can throw in probably Alisson, maybe Kyle Walker in his day. But now you're not going to tell me that like the Giggses and the Beckhams and the Bergkamps and the Henrys and the Gerrards and Lampards and Scholes and all this of this world were not better than what we got now. I can't even think of a Lampard, Gerrard and Scholes equivalent now in the Premier League.
Yeah, but you started your argument with saying that this season is weaker than the seasons before.
No, I do. I think it is. I think it is getting weaker and weaker, and I think the lack of quality now is clear to see. Listen, that doesn't take away from the fact that I think what people are doing here is they're going, "Oh my god, I can't say let this crap," because now it looks like Liverpool are rubbish. Liverpool are going to get potentially 90+ points. Unbelievable season. Forget Liverpool. Look at the other 19 teams and tell me that they're good. They're not good. They're not. I don't look at the 19 teams and go, wow. Danny Welbeck is still balling out at 34 years old. Danny Welbeck is scoring goals. That is not good quality.
That's down to Hurtseller's management. So you're tell me that the other teams are good. Okay, I will tell you. Forest are good. I'll tell you that Chelsea currently, as things stand, they're in 4th place, so they're where they're expected to be. Newcastle are good. Brighton are good. Fulham are good. Villa are good. Like all these clubs, they are good. Yes. Like I'm not going to sit up here and change my opinion now. Like I do think that they are good. I do think that they are amazing, and what you're saying, Dan, is exactly what the top gunners say to defend Arteta, and you know this because it's like,
I'm
oh,
not
this
defending
season.
Arteta here.
I
Trust
know
me.
you're not, but it's the same thing that they say because at the end of the day, look, 15 years ago, Crystal Palace had Andy Johnson. They have Jean-Philippe Mateta now. Unless you're going to act like this nostalgic basis and we're all going to act like Andy Johnson's this fantastic striker when he's not, because we watched them with our own eyes. You get me? It's similar things. Now, in the current league, the reason why the Premier League is so enjoyable to watch and the reason why the Premier League is so competitive and it's amazing and it's the best it's ever been for a while is because anyone can beat anyone. And as
That's
things
more
stand, right?
competitive, Sam. That's more
And as things,
competitive. It's
yeah,
not
okay, but
quality.
how can it be competitive and shit at the same time? That doesn't make sense.
Because they're worst level. All of them are worst level. So it's competitive. So Brighton
Yeah,
versus Forest.
So who's
it's like
all of them?
Rugby.
8 teams are all worst level.
But on a